and welcome to CXO Cafe, a series of learning interactions with CIOs on various aspects of digital collaboration. I am Anil Chopra, VP Research and Consulting at CyberMedia Research, and your host for this episode. Now, in this episode, we will discuss reimagining workplace of the future. Workplace today has a completely different meaning than what it was 1.5 years ago. Today, it's no longer the physical office that you would have to travel to, but everyone at home has become, everyone at home has become a mini office or a workplace. The current pandemic actually has forced everyone to adopt this new way of working. Now, while we all hope that and pray for the pandemic to end soon, but even if it does, we can't simply leave things to chance and get back to the traditional way of working again. Organizations must now reimagine their workplace and ensure that it's a safe, productive, and enjoyable place for employees. So what should the future workplace be like? How can really technology help it evolve? To discuss this and many other things, we have with us Anil Khatri, who is the head South Asia for global IT client technology and field IT at SAP India. The company, of course, needs no introduction. SAP is the world's leading provider of business software solutions. Anil has over 21 years of experience with an unparalleled expertise in building diverse IT teams, that focus on driving cost-effective innovation to deliver high value. Recognized for his innovations in technology, Anil has won several prestigious awards, including the Top 100 CIO 100 Award. Welcome to CXO Cafe, Anil.
Thank you very much, Anil. So we share a same name, so we have to call each other by our name. So it's a little surprising for me to call her name Anil for somebody else, but as we go, it's very nice to have you, and thank you for having me with you today.
Pleasure here, Anil. Thank you. So, Anil, with work from home becoming commonplace, is the office as we know it really dead? Or do you really see everything returning to the pre-pandemic days as soon as we're out of the current situation?
Well, I would say this COVID-19 pandemic really has challenged us to re-envision our outlook towards work and the workplace itself. I would say it's very important for us now more than ever to find a harmonious blend where we are able to prioritize not only business, but also household responsibilities. And also in this jugglery, find some quality time with our loved ones. Coming to your question, would we return back to the current situation which we were? I think hybrid workplace is an accepted norm and would be an accepted norm for the future, right? This was in some way coming into India. We know our Western peers and our Western organizations were already in this mode since some time. But now I can see that the pandemic has accelerated or acted as a catalyst for this hybrid workplace. And I think more and more organizations have come to realize that the flexible working structure is having a positive effect on the productivity and the efficiency levels of the employees, because it gives them this flexibility to choose the time and choose the place where they work from. And this builds a trust within an organization and an employee.
Thank you. So how has the pandemic changed employees' expectations, in terms of the way they want to work while staying productive? What have been your learnings from this?
Look, from the organization which I work, SAP, we always believed in workplace which is based on trust and empowerment. Okay, because for us, employees are at the heart of everything what we do. And one thing which stood out very, very clearly in this pandemic is that people trusted the organizations which took care of them, right? And from the time this pandemic occurred, SAP has shown a great care in understanding the behavior and the mindset of our employees and helping them to stay productive. One of our key organizational behaviors, which I can stress upon, is keep the promise. And this came right from the board that we stood by our commitment to support all our employees in terms of need. So what would I would say is that what are the main key learnings that we focused on is enhancing productivity, being more collaborative, coming and ensuring the culture which we have built stays as it is. And in this whole situation, innovating to meet the challenging dynamics of the team as well as the individual, because the way of work has changed completely.
Thanks. Now, keeping some of these expectations in mind and some of the learnings that you have shared as a technology leader, so how do you really imagine the future workplace to really look like? And how will technology help it evolve? I mean, in other words, what would be your vision for workplace of the future?
So I would say from my perspective, even before the pandemic, not only SAP, but I think a lot of organizations in some way were, and I would stress more on the technology organizations were some way future ready, right? And they already had infrastructures and policy in place for a flexible working environment, right? So that has helped a lot, and that enabled the whole workforce to work from anywhere on any device and anytime. Of course, the organizations which I would say enabled or migrated to the cloud were the beneficiaries for this. And we can see it very, very evidently that they didn't face any challenges to adopt this new style of working, right? Which is from anywhere, from any device to any place, right? What we also witnessed is that, as I said before, that employees are even more productive working from home, because now it gives them the flexibility to choose the timings, to choose what is important for them and at what time, right? So we have diverse workforce, right from the women employees to differently enabled people. So this also helps them to really focus on what they want to do and when they want to do. For me, 100% flexible workplace, which is trust-based and brings in an inclusive environment in which people can work from home or from office or from anywhere, I would say. And they are empowered. I think that's the most key word, that they are empowered to run at their personal best, driving success. What is important for the future of work is how I envision this workplace to be.
I think being able to work from anywhere, anytime with 100% flexibility does sound like a good idea. I'm sure that a lot of employees that's something that they would want. Now, obviously, digital collaboration, has become an essential part of now every organization's functioning. That's the only way that they can actually work from anywhere and anytime. How has this space, the digital collaboration space, actually evolved beyond video conferencing to enable employees to be productive from anywhere?
I would say that look, even before this virtual environment, video conferencing was very much restricted to the office. Now you can see a lot of video conferencing or a lot of virtual conferencing happening from home. So there is a lot of technologies which have come together to make this happen, right? And we can see this very, very seamless. No more disconnects, no more people struggling to do this. So this in some way has matured a lot. But other than this video conferencing, I think there are a lot of new things which are coming up. Some are a little more expensive at this stage, and some may take a little more time to evolve. And I can just tell you one such technology is the virtual technology, a VR technology, which is coming up. Of course, the endpoints, the headsets are still more expensive, but that's the future. Look, we would be imagining ourselves sitting in a conference room with each other physically, but in a virtual environment wearing these VR headsets, right? So this is one thing which I see. That the second thing which I see is, from a conferencing perspective, is the whiteboarding solution, right? So whiteboarding has taken a little bit of a backstage, though there are whiteboarding solutions available where you can write on an iPad or a mobile phone and project it and show it to the other colleagues with you in a virtual environment. But that's something which is still coming up and maturing as a technology. So I think these are the things which are coming up. So whiteboarding, the VRs, and the last thing not the least from my perspective, is also especially for the organizations which need to really showcase their products. So I think there are a lot of the platforms which are coming up which can show you picture in picture, where you don't only see the image of a person who's presenting, but also see the a 3D view of a product which is being showcased as such. So that's where we are going, and that's where the technology is coming. And I think we are not very far. Maybe towards the end of this year, you would all see all these things already very much consumerized and available with everybody.
Great, thanks. Thanks for sharing all those great new technologies that are coming in. And yes, absolutely, we've been hearing about many of them for some time, but let's hope that this speeds it up and we're able to see them as commonplace, in another year's time. Now, I'll come to another point that you mentioned earlier, which was about the hybrid workplace, where basically I think employees have to actually come to office to work. Now, given current situation, and I don't blame companies, but most of them are, probably struggling with models that will enable employees to come to office to work, once things settle down. Now, there are so many factors to be considered to ensure employee health and safety. What's your advice to them?
I think while most of the people continue to work from home and would work from home, but as you rightly said, there are business critical teams which have to go back to office. And even today, there are some of the teams which are going to back to the office, the data center teams or the critical IT functions or the critical back office functions are going to office. So as an organization or from an SAP standpoint of view or any other organization, I think the most important is the safety and the health of our employees, right? I think that's the most critical aspect. Until we are able to showcase and commit to our employees that their safety and health is a #1 priority for us to get them back to the office, half the job is more or less done, right? And I think most of the companies are and would be prepared as they welcome and receive the employees back into the office, is to ensure we follow the protocols, we follow the COVID regulations, we follow the basic norms which we keep harping about, is wearing a mask, physical distancing, adhering to personal hygiene, vaccination, just to let you know. And I can see most of the companies doing that. SAP also had a vaccination drive, not only in one place in Bangalore, but in all the office locations which we had, where we started to vaccinate not only our own employees, but their dependents or anybody else who were working in the front line for us, right? So I think these are the steps as the organizations take forward. And I see many organizations doing this. This will give a lot of comfort to the employees and take care of their safeties. And I think then we are all good.
Great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that advice. Now, the workplace isn't just about internal collaboration between employees, no matter where they're working from, but it's not just about collaborating amongst themselves. It also requires interacting with the outside world, customers, IT providers, partners, suppliers. So besides providing, basic connectivity, internet bandwidth, and conferencing tools, what should be some of the other key considerations for enabling, this collaboration with the external world?
Maybe I talk more about SAP here. So during this crisis, actually, SAP has been enabling a lot of customers to gain insight into assessing their past and the future risk which they have in their businesses to run their business better, right? For us, the customer success is a top priority always. And we have always aimed in advance that our customer experience is the best by enabling them with the business, by enabling the business to have the right tools and the technologies at the right time, right? We also feel that customers today are not only seeking scalability, but they are also seeking faster deployment, because the way we are evolving so fast, and at the same time looking at data compliancy, data security, and all this in a cost-effective model. Okay, so we are doing this at the forefront, empowering our customers to do this, and I think that's what the organization has to do: that empower their workforce, empower their go-to businesses with the right tools, so they are able to empower their customers. And I talked about a few technologies in past in the previous time, is like the VRs and the picture-in-picture models, where you will be able to showcase some physical assets if needed for some organizations. For us, we are a software company, so we don't have the physical assets to be shown. But if our organization has a physical assets, these kinds of technologies will come a lot in play to showcase to the customer. So of course, the organizations will have to go beyond the tools which you mentioned, which is the internet and the conferencing tools, to enable their employees providing these technologies so that they can serve their customers better.
You're right. So, video conferencing is actually, a way of life in today's environment. But, as we have been discussing, it's just not enough. And you have mentioned so many different technologies. What other collaboration tools, according to you, now have become essential for workplace of the future? What is now forming, essential toolkit for, as far as collaboration tools are concerned for employees?
I think the basics have been taken care by most of the organizations of providing a camera or a camera-enabled device and a speaker or a headset, which is a noise cancellation, things like this, which give you a basic video conferencing environment. But other than that, as I have mentioned before, maybe at the cost of repeating, I will do that again. It is very important to provide these new technologies and the tools which are coming in, especially where the employees feel that they are part of a larger organization like the VR, and they get an experience of being together with each other, with the whiteboarding solutions, with a better picture-in-picture solutions, with a better environment which we can give them around. Those are the collaboration tools I think we can. Of course, there are a lot of software tools like Mural and things like this, which help you do collaboration much better. I think most of the organizations already would have done that, but if not, there are a list of these collaboration softwares which are available for people to collaborate on. And one such great example is what we are using right now, Microsoft Teams, right? And what better software we can have for collaborating.
Right. I mean, this space has also evolved besides video conferencing to enable, smooth collaboration between people like we're doing right now. So last question for you, Anil. As a technology leader, the pandemic is obviously going to leave its mark on all of us. But, as a technology leader, moving forward, what changes, according to you, are going to be permanent in the workplace and what changes are temporary?
So as we transfers to this new normal, I think it is quite evident that COVID has given us an opportunity to learn a lot about people, learn a lot about how a workplace will transform, change a lot of processes, and also relook at the organizational culture. I think we have all witnessed a radical shift in our mind for the workplace which we see in the future, right? Which is now very much concentrated, I feel, in how the business will flourish in this new normal, right? I think also it has given us a lot of opportunities to redesign and rethink, and at the same time keep it very simple so that it can have a long-lasting effect on our employees' productivity, commitment, and holistic well-behavior, right? Because that's very important for anybody, right? So in short, I would say remote working and flexibility with the trust and empowerment to the employees is what's going to remain as a permanent change for our workplace.
Thank you, Anil. And yes, I hope that this change remains because I guess every employee or every organization wants to get the best out of their employees, and possibly by providing this flexibility, they will be able to get the best. Thank you, Anil, for sharing your insights. I think it was indeed a pleasure to listen to many of your views. You've shared so many great insights. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Anil.
Well, that's all for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed watching this episode of CXO Cafe and found this interaction interesting and useful. We'll be back again soon with more interesting chats around other aspects of digital collaboration. So stay tuned. Till then, Goodbye, stay safe and healthy, and keep watching CXO Cafe. Thank you.